Hey guys, Troy Klongerbo here with Fisheye Marketing, and usually when you see us do these videos, we've either got a script or we've got a concept or an idea, or we're trying to share something broader. We're taking this one in a totally different direction, and we're actually answering your questions. So we've got questions. We got 5 questions here that were sent in, Facebook Messenger, Instagram comments. So let's see what we got. The first question, and now we get this question a lot: how can small business owners with tight marketing budgets market their business before hiring an agency? One of the easiest ways to do it is to put money into social media. Now, I know that the business manager in the back end of Facebook ads can get a little bit technical and a little bit confusing, but just keep it as simple as possible and keep the budget as small as possible and only measure specific things. If you're going for a little contest to your following, just put $50 behind it. Start small and measure it that way. Another idea, actually, I'm just thinking this off the top of my head, if you only have a little bit of money to work with, I would go for like guerrilla marketing tactics. Like go for very simple ways to get attention. Maybe it's knowing that your customers are at a certain location in town and printing out a bunch of really cool little postcards or brochures to put on their vehicles. Or maybe it's getting involved in the community because you know there's a nonprofit in town, or some sort of a charity that a lot of your potential customers could be giving their attention to. Give a donation and get involved with their marketing as well. There's a lot of ways to make a very small marketing budget stretch out. The biggest thing you need is just to get a little bit creative and ask the right questions. Question number 2 is from TC Barron Jr. over Instagram. What is one thing you do daily that enhances your company culture? Number 1, you have to be communicating. As the owner of Fisheye, when I notice our culture dips is when our communication has dipped. When we're not we use Slack internally, when we're not slacking to one another, when we're not commenting inside of our project management software the status of projects, when we're not even visiting at the beginning or ends of days because people's schedules don't line up, that's when I notice our culture dips. But when our culture really starts to soar, it's when everybody's communicating. One of the biggest things that we're focusing on, and I'm focusing on almost a daily basis, is communication. Question number 3 comes in from Chef. Now I know this because I know Chef Nicholas. Chef Sayeski. Chef Sayeski asks, talk to us about in-office versus in-home work with your team. Which is more efficient? Both can be more efficient, really. One of the things we noticed that during the pandemic, during that 18 months of working at home, we were at home for about 12 months, we saw a little bit of an increase on the productivity and efficiency of individual tasks because people weren't distracted at the office. They didn't have maybe some small talk and little things that could maybe get you off task. They were able to just kind of hammer away at a blog or at a social media campaign or at a video or at an email they were generating. They could just kind of dive into the task, block out the noise, and be really efficient in that way. But over time, we kind of started to notice that the strategy part of our business started to kind of wane and dip off a little bit because we're not around each other and there's not that synergy of I run into a roadblock or a problem, what could be a creative way to solve this, and the little 4-minute banter that happens in the office. That wasn't there. We had to kind of incorporate some Zooms. Without the communication, it's almost like that strategy part of our business got to be less efficient. So in short, when you're comparing, I guess, in-office or in-home, I'm an office guy. I like being in the office. I get distracted when I see the lawn long and dishes in the sink and all that kind of stuff. I like to just be at the office and hone in. But I also know a lot of people are in-home people and they get just as much from a productivity sense done at home. But in short, I guess I like office. I notice that there's gives and takes to both. And going forward at Fisheye, we're going to just embrace that world of both. It doesn't need to be an or world. It can be an and world. And that's how we're going to move forward. So good question. Okay, question number 4. We used to get this question way more, but how can I be sure that my customers are on social media? I'm gonna get a little bit anecdotal here and say, first of all, not every single person in the entire world is on social media, and that'd be naive to say. Now, I will say there's the lion's share of the market is on social media in some capacity. If you just look at core numbers, I mean, I don't even know what the latest numbers came out as. 2.5 billion people in the world are on Facebook, at least on a monthly basis. I mean, that's a high percentage. But what I want to talk about a little bit today is how we can still market to people who aren't on social media through using social media. And I guess I would call that like maybe some sort of like a network effect or like a community effect. Like I can think of one guy in my head. He's a guy that I work with in the professional field. He's probably around the age of 50, does not use social media. I know he doesn't. Like he denounces it, does not want to use it. But I know his wife has social media. I know she checks her Facebook and her Instagram frequently. I know his employees use social media. I know he's probably got friends and family that use social media. If we're able to influence his sphere his sphere of influence, I mean, that becomes water cooler talk. That becomes talk in the car about this new company that his wife may have heard of. That becomes a talk where him and his buddy are jumping on the phone quick and he said, hey, I got this product that I think might be really cool for you, or I noticed that this might be a fit for you. They won't even necessarily remember where they saw it. They'll just say, hey, I saw this and I thought of you and I thought you'd be a good fit. How do I know my customers are gonna be on social media? Most of your customers are gonna be on social media is how we would answer that. And so the ones that aren't, a strong social media presence can still influence them. So that's kind of a short answer to what could be a really complicated one, but hopefully that helps. All right, the final question, if you guys wanted like hardcore like marketing talk, now might be a time to jump off, but this is fun. This is from a former team member of ours, Andrea Van Essen, asks, does Fisheye have a real live mascot yet? So it depends on what your answer is for real live mascot, Andrea. We did have, my dog Polly has come in a bunch, Moose, another one of the office pups has come into the office. We don't have a fish in the office. In short, real live mascot yet, no, but we'll work on it. All right, so there it was, 5 questions. We're gonna get in the habit of doing this a little more often. It's just kind of more fun to engage and see what questions and what we can think of content ideas all day of the type of stuff that we want to talk about, but that's not the point. We want to be able to answer your guys' questions and get maybe new perspectives. So keep an eye out for the next one. If you want to drop a comment even on this one for our next episode, we'll call it or whatever, drop a comment below or on YouTube, wherever you're watching it, and we will probably be able to make sure that your question gets answered. So that's all. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.